it seems like both residential and commercial buyers want that carpet to last an appreciable amount of time. And I'm sure in a commercial setting, they can tell you, we want this has to last for 8 years or something. That would seem to be a good conversation to have on day one, wouldn't it? I mean, the day they buy that carpet. You know, you've got some options here. This is, as you had mentioned 2 or 3 times, this is a textile product. And we all know what happens. The textile products, this can last you 15, 20 years if you take care of it in the right way. And here's what you have to do that. That would seem to be a strong message, and one that a consumer, a lot of consumers anyway, would pick up on.
Oh, sure it would. But there's also one other thing that we haven't really, and there'll be a pun here, but scratch the surface on, is that you're dealing with a fabric on the floor that most of the time it's plastic. You're dealing with synthetic fabric most of the time. And those synthetic fabrics, with dry soil accumulation, will begin to scratch. And now if I've scratched that product that's translucent, the light is going to hit it differently. And so you not only deal with the soil that's there, but you deal with the soil that people think is there. And that's what we call apparent soils.
So that's a good argument to maintain carpet.
Absolutely, because the less scratching you have, the faster you remove that product, and a grain of sand will have 8 to 10 cutting edges on it, because it's not sand. It's usually some mineral coming from the rock industry. It's going to be a piece of quartz, a piece of granite, a piece of feldspar, perhaps a piece of mica. It's going to be abrasive. And that abrasion is going to take place. And once that happens, once that abrasion begins to occur, the professional carpet cleaner has nothing that's available to them to fix that. All they're limited to is removing soil. And so if the soil's gone and the dullness remains, it's because you've already damaged your fiber system. Yeah. And that's unfortunate.
From your observation, what would your estimate be as to the percentage of retailers that actually talk about maintenance at the time of sale?
It's higher than it's ever been, I'll say that.
Really?
I would think we're probably 20 to 25%. Could be higher in certain areas of the country where they've got more in-tune people that are getting out there.
But I mean, that's more than saying, okay, you got to clean this. Okay, see you. You know, anything more than that?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I haven't been in a retail environment in a while, but in talking to retailers at Surfaces and some of the other shows we go to, I think that they're confused as to the difference between cleaning and maintenance. And we're trying to stress maintenance operations at Interlink Supply. We're talking about, you know, you want to maintain your carpet, you want to use different tools for different levels of soil, you want to use different tools for different times of the year. So we're really thinking about a maintenance option rather than cleaning. Cleaning just promotes a lot of soil building up for a long time and then going in with a shovel and trying to remove it. Yeah. That may cause more harm than good, even though that today's cleaning systems, especially the deep cleaning systems, are really well thought out. They're well engineered. They work very well, but to remove soil. And if they can't reach all the way down to the primary backing, then we're going to have some difficulties.
Yeah. It seems like, and I think we had talked about this sometime in the past, that there was an era in the floor covering retail business where it seemed like a lot of retailers and retail organizations decided they wanted to get into the maintenance business. And that sort of has fallen by the wayside. It appears to me, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but that still seems to be, to me, who again, I'll also say I've never sold a square inch of floor covering in my entire life, seems like a pretty strong idea to have the guy that sold you that carpet be the guy that comes into your home every now and again and helps to maintain that. That would seem to be a very strong idea, and it's probably a good way to sell more floor covering on top of that.
There are a few that are still doing it. We had several carpet mills that got involved in that. Yeah. We had a couple of fiber producers that got into the maintenance operations. There's still a large buying group that part of theirs, part of their process is doing that same thing. It's a different business though, and service business versus product business, and I think that's where a lot of them struggled, was trying to figure out the differences between providing services versus selling them a product one time or 2 times or 3 times, whatever that was. I don't know, and we actively pursue that type of business. That's one of the reasons that as Interlink Supply, we're at the Surfaces show and program and showing retailers, here's what we have to offer. We would relish that type of conversation with retailers. It's different enough where I think a lot of retailers shy away from it, and that's fine, because if the retailer doesn't want to, we can introduce them to one of our customers in that area that could handle their service department for them.
To have a relationship with somebody,
Absolutely.
which is almost being in the business yourself. But I guess the downside of that is that it seems like floor covering retailing is a business with a lot of details, and you're juggling a lot of things all the time, and having one more business to juggle is difficult, and I can see where it would be a real problem area.
Yeah, the retailers
for
that have done well with it have done very well with it. The retailers that haven't, obviously they haven't. But I don't think it's the service business is just different enough where it runs in a little bit of a different way than what they're used to. And I think a lot of them abandon the idea after a while because it's difficult to staff, it's difficult to forecast. There's a lot of challenges with it.
Yeah. It would also seem to me that it would be wise for a floor covering retailer who sells carpet to consider selling vacuum cleaners. A good vacuum cleaner that would get the dirt out that you were mentioning that's hidden down there. That would seem to be a really strong idea, and it would seem to be a relatively easy sale because they just spent a lot of money on carpet, say, and hey, you want this thing to last 15 to 20 years, here's a way to do it.
We'd love to show some retailers some of the vacuums that we sell, and at wholesale, by the way. So no, that I think that's a great idea. I think that there's certainly some room for that. I don't know, again, a different type of business. Retailers are selling fashion, and it's different than function. And I think I grasp that. I think that that's where the challenges are. A vacuum cleaner is more of a functional item, and I don't know that a lot of the people who their customers would necessarily automatically realize and think, oh, because you sell carpet, that this vacuum would be the best one. I don't know. It's certainly something to explore.
Yeah. Now, we've been talking primarily about carpet, which certainly has unique situations, cleaning situations. What about other products? What about wood? What about LVT? What about laminate? Obviously, those need to be maintained. They're not bulletproof either.
Correct. But each one of those has unique cleaning and maintenance characteristics. Laminates, for example, you've got a MDF product with a aluminum oxide coating and a picture of wood underneath that. So you don't really have anything in the wood family. You've got a product that's part of that. Looks amazing in certain circumstances, but doesn't maintain anything like wood, where you've got a polyurethane finish over the top of that, or aluminum oxide, depending on whether it's been pre-finished or not. You get into LVT and you run into all kinds of other issues with the new matte look of the LVT, which is selling amazingly well because everybody loves the fact that they can mimic other floor coverings. But it's also difficult to maintain that matte finish because of the way that people incorrectly clean themselves. A lot of consumers will use heavy-duty products when heavy-duty is not necessary. Heavy-duty means it's not a pH-neutral product and it's going to have to be rinsed.
So that damages the floor.
Well, it doesn't necessarily damage anything, but what ends up happening is it leaves a residue behind that it's going to attract new soil to it faster. And so that you're kind of fighting a losing battle at that point when you're using the same cleaner to remove the cleaner that you left behind from your last cleaning. You have to rinse that thoroughly with water, or sometimes even a mildly acidic agent to neutralize that. And too many people think they've got heavy-duty soiling, or maybe they do, and they just don't understand the rinse procedure that has to happen. My grandmother knew that because she rinsed with vinegar, so she got that.
I can remember as a kid, people would clean their windows with vinegar and newspaper. Maybe that's because they were cheap, I'm not sure, but...
Well, newsprint is a great wiping tool, so just you don't want to have the ink on there, though.
Yeah.
That's going to be a problem.